Welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm wondering why you did that when you knew I had Raycons on. Anyway, no. Like,
I wanted to make sure you could hear me.
Yeah. All right, check. Yeah, hey, I'm Don. How's it going?
All right. Strap in, boys and girls, because we're going to be talking some Star Wars announcements, and Don is going to have a thing or two to say.
Just a thing or two.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Starfighter, Andor season 1 premiere, or season 2 premiered. There's a little bit of Kathleen Kennedy conflicting news, but we'll talk about that. And there's going to be some other. So we're going to talk about the Fantastic Four. Trailer that was released, because it was released right after we recorded. Oh, and Darth Maul, Shadow Lord. Yes, that's the other Star Wars news. So this will be interesting. So with all that being said, how are you doing, Don? We were off for Easter because we're the most hated things in North America. We're middle-aged white Christians, but we took off for Easter. How are you?
Yeah. I'm, doing okay, doing good. Just super stoked. As a Star Wars fan, it's a really great time to be a Star Wars fan, and it's just unfortunate that the lamest thing about being a Star Wars fan right now is other Star Wars fans. But hey, we're still getting great shit, so I got a smile on my face. How about you, Captain?
I'm doing well. I'm on call this week at work, so that causes
so you can suddenly drop.
No, I support the software, so it's only used during the day. There's not going to be an emergency with anything. If there's a job that fails, but that they run in the middle of the night. So there's a chance we'll get a call. We'll see. Knock wood, touch air, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I've been painting more. Look, I got another new painting behind me there. I got Cap.
Yeah, you're getting quite a collection.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I foolishly decided there's 3 events coming up. My son's birthday is next Wednesday. Spoiler warning, we probably won't do a show then.
Maybe I do another solo. We'll see.
Okay. Mother's Day, and then my girlfriend's eldest's birthday is a couple days after Mother's Day. So I decided to make paintings for all of them as gifts for those days. I did finish my son's. I hope he likes it. I did a character from Persona 5. I've never played the game, but that's his favorite game. So we'll see. And I'm currently working on the one for my mother. But what I'm going to do
Well, that escalated quickly, Dave. Like, it was, just a few months ago, just a hobby of trying it out. I like it. It's cathartic. To like you're sweatshopping yourself now. The paintings. All right, I understand. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them. I'm with Hassan, though. Glad.
And then, but what I'm going to do for Karen's oldest is he's a big Invincible fan, so I'm going to do Invincible, but with his face. So
I
thought, we'll see how that turns out.
You should get on here then and talk Invincible with us.
We did. We talked Invincibles.
I know. I'm saying he should.
Matt. You're saying Matt should get on with us.
Yeah.
I see.
Right.
We'll see. He works at nights though, so that makes it difficult. He works overnights at Planet Fitness, so that makes it a little more difficult. And with or without the mask? That's a good question. I'm taking an image of where the mask is ripped, so you can see part of the face. So that'll be
a challenge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to trace a lot of it and then color it in with oil paints. But yeah, so
Okay, like a
yeah,
lot of the artists from the 90s when they did the TNA, they used to trace from Playboy and Penthouse and shit.
yep. So yeah,
Good
it's
for
an old
them.
method that lots of artists have used. I did a portrait of my girlfriend and I for her birthday, and that's how I did it. I traced it and then painted it. So but yeah, so let's I mean let's get right into it. Let's rip the band-aid off. Uh
Right.
Andor season 2 premiered. I will be completely honest, I only watched the first 2 episodes. I did not get to the third one yet. Um uh but what I will say before I let you speak, uh I'm liking it better than season 1. There's a lot of more action right away, but which makes sense because you've already established all the players in season 1, so you don't have to do a lot of like who's who and what's going on. So that I'm liking. I like the intrigue of the warring factions within the rebellion right now, which, like, this is the start of the rebellion, so that makes sense. But then I hate to say it, and again, I only watched the first 2 episodes, so maybe it gets better in the third episode. But all the wedding stuff with Mon Mothra and like all of it's supposed to be like political intrigue stuff. It's just like, this is, get rid of this. This show would be so much better if we got rid of all of this BS. So
Interesting. Well, I will say, without trying to spoil episode 3 too much, but I think it's going to happen. I'm sorry. But if you don't like the wedding stuff, then episode 3 is probably going to annoy you, because it even annoyed me at the end of episode 3 a little bit. Well, it was just strange. The music was strange.
Is it all?
Mon Mothma looking like she's, because at some point during this wedding, they in episode 3, it's like, spoiler alert, whatever. It's like the wedding reception time, right? They bring out this droid and they got their lights going and music, and everybody's dancing and drinking. And so they really linger on Mon Mothma dancing for what seemed like 10 minutes. But everything else they cut to, though, was fucking great. So, but with that said,
So
I see, I like the political intrigue part. I think it's essential.
So wait, hold on.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm saying this about Andor, and you said it about Daredevil, where it's like,
yes, I had that thought.
The characters, when they're interacting and there's not action going on, we're like, oh, I don't care about this stuff. But then when the stuff's but that's not entirely true, because I like Cassian interacting with the 2 groups. Well, the one group, and then they split up the rebels on the planet. But so like that's like, because I thought that was going in a different direction, by the way, too. That whole thing where it's like they were fighting with each other and they killed some of the people in the groups, but then like he's saying all these things to them, like, oh, you should gather rain, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do, and they're like listening to him. I thought he was going to end up getting them to make peace, and then he was going to lead them, but no. He just escaped and got into the TIE interceptor and took off, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Cassian Andor is
all
a
about
dirty
Cassian
motherfucker. Right.
Yeah.
Which makes completely sense given their circumstance of the rebellion at this point. And like the fact that he just stole a TIE Avenger, like absolutely, like getting that communication device for the old ship that he was supposed to link up with. Fuck it, getting my new TIE Avenger, and hook up with Luthen and the rest of the rebellion and his lover that's on the one planet I can't remember. So I don't know. The political part of it though, Dave, the wedding and all that. Mon Mothma is, someone that we know a lot about, but don't know a lot about. And you're right. Like it's opposite of Daredevil. During like the talkie parts, I'm like on the edge of my seat here because I'd be remiss to forget that they're in the heart of the Empire. They're on Coruscant. She is a senator, and yet she is helping to finance and design a rebellion against the Empire of which she works and lives for, quote unquote. So at any time, okay. But
here's
juxtaposing
the thing.
that to what's going on with Andor. Go ahead.
But where it's leading. So like she's not going to like get caught and be thrown in the prison because she leads the rebellion by the time we get to episode 4. So yeah,
all about. So that was a question I was going to ask you is, does this affect your enjoyment of this show, knowing how it's all going to end? And that's also going to kind of go for Darth Maul too. I'll talk about that. We know how that's going to end, or at least we'll know how Darth Maul is going to end. In Star Wars Rebels, we know that eventually, they go after Mon Mothma, and so the Rebels, she actually joins the Rebels and fully denounces her senatorship. So yeah, this is like we've already seen the final chapter to this book in Rogue One, which actually is not one of my favorite Star Wars at all. It's actually on the bottom for me. But this
you might be one of the only people.
and I might be coming out of that category. I think I pretty much am, because what Star Wars does better than anybody is to take something and build it. And they've built that movie by doing this Andor series, building up this character. So now when I watch that movie, also Krennic is in this and is menacing as ever. And the Imperials in general, all the actors, the way they're portraying these Imperials are just spot fucking on, like super fucking menacing. What we're learning that the Empires, they cut off all communications when they're doing their audit. The creepy, rapey guy, like, they're just such a spot on portrayal of the Empire and what they're fighting against. So the wedding stuff, to go back to your original point or complaint, it shows us though how like that higher society is living, and of course Mon Mothma's adventure in it, but we've got all these fucking people carrying on about this stupid fucking wedding, while people on the other side of this conflict that they're basically feeding into are dying over it, and so I don't know. I think that they do a good job of their symbolism and kind of the deep thoughts. I mean, really, they're kind of, when it comes to it, and this may be uncomfortable because San may start clapping. He likes this sort of shit. But like, the rebels in Star Wars are very much in parallel with like the terrorist in the Middle East. And I'm not going to make any judgments there one way or the other, but like you just see, Star Wars has always been very examining of things like the tyranny. At first it was the Nazis, and in general just imperialism. I don't know, and it's very intriguing and thought-provoking and relevant to me after how many fucking years since the first Star Wars came out. It's still on message, and I don't know, man. I like it. I love it. I love the fact that they mentioned the Luthen, mentioned the Rakata aliens, or the Rakata Empire. That's a deep cut for us Knights of the Old Republic fans. The Rakata and the Infinite Empire. They made the Star Forge, which was the central focus of the KOTOR game. I don't know. So but I get it though, because even I at some point, was a little bit over the whole wedding thing. Like, okay, I got it. But otherwise, it really was kind of necessary and important for me. if you think about it, this is a deep show. It's a deep Star Wars show. You know, if you're into just thinking about the overall struggle, you know, and then you go to Balin Skull, who I didn't see on the notes. We'll kind of talk about though at some point, where he describes in the Ahsoka show the rise and the fall of these different empires and the cycle, and he wants to break it. Like, Star Wars just has a deep, greater meaning that I guess just speaks to me. So, and this is just it's just awesome. And like you said, the pacing's way better. Action right off the bat. The pacing in the first Andor season was off a little bit, and I think this fixes that tenfold.
Son says, Don, the wedding, it was great. If you're streaming later tonight, I'll talk your head off about it. You know, people that like the wedding scene, you know,
they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Oh boy.
It's I don't know. It's like they could, because I think they could do all of the stuff. My problem with a lot of that is a lot of it could be done very quickly, but they do these long panning shots with her and everything that's going on, like her crossing the room, you know, to make it more dramatic, because like she's passing all these people that she can't talk to and say anything. So it's just like that makes it more boring and more annoying. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, let's not do that.
Let's get to the pew pew. Come on. I get it.
Yes, let's get to the pew 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 pew.
But in order to achieve what they did, man, you couldn't. It's just, I don't know, man. It's showing you just the side of the rebellion. It's just, continuing to give us layers and develop these characters in a great way. I don't know. I just love it. It's a great Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. I love Andor, the series, but I never want like a mainline Star Wars movie with this tone, because a mainline Star Wars movie,
it wouldn't work.
It'd be kid-centric. Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah. And so MVP to me, and you haven't seen this, Dave, so this shouldn't ruin that much for you, though. So Daedra and Cyril, they're like the couple from the first season, which actually she's the Imperial intelligence agent, and he was the cop that fucked her, and then they got together. Well, they live together. You'll see this in episode 3. Okay.
No, do you see that in episode 2? That he comes home.
I got you.
And they're talking about, that's the part you're probably about to get to, because they say they have something to do tomorrow, and he doesn't want to do it. So go ahead.
His mom. Yeah, his mom, and Kassan's saying, and it was his fucking dinner with Cyril's mom. Yeah, his mom comes, and like she kind of starts her bullshit, giving him an anxiety. And at one point, he gets flustered and he leaves the room. And Daedra just like tells her, like, listen, I will make sure he calls you like twice a week or whatever, sees you so many times per month, like, but that's in direct proportion to you causing him fucking anxiety. I was like, Daedra. I mean, she was just saying, like, I don't know. I felt that from her. Just like, look, bitch, you're gonna play nice, because you're gonna fucking just try and wreck your son. Fuck you. I don't know. I just I'm starting to like that character now, even though she's very dry and with the Empire. I don't know. Great characters, great writing. It's just. But I know I'm subject matter biased, because the same shit in Daredevil. You're absolutely right. I can't escape it. The same shit in Daredevil. I'm snoozing away. Yeah, that's scene. Kassan says Daedra was a stone cold killer in that scene. She was, like, not with violence, but just like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
All right. Well, I'll probably find out tomorrow when I watch the episode.
Hey, yeah, we'll be back Sunday. So,
yep. All right. Definitely. So yeah, that's we're gonna keep watching it. Obviously, we'll talk
Andor
a little bit more about
season 2 was
Are
as
they
great
gonna
as we
like?
thought it was going to
They
be.
dropped.
So
They dropped 3 episodes though. Like they're not. I hope they don't
yeah,
continue to do that. Like
I'm
don't
with
drop
you,
it
but they
like
do have a
3
lot
and
of
then
episodes.
3. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's too
with
much
you.
to watch.
I
in a
don't
week.
like that trend either. I know. I don't like that trend either. When they'll, okay, give me 2 episodes on the premiere. I'm okay with that, but then be consistent, please.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, on that note, take a quick break, and Darth Don will tell you you can find more superhero speak.
Darth Don here. You must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. You also will like this video. And while you're on the HoloNet, go to superheroespeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated gundog named Brie Larson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show.
All right. So, wait, real quick. Kassan says, I hope you guys got to see the Predator Badlands trailer, which watch it while you take a break. It's exciting. I'm sorry. I'm one of those. It was a cool concept for the first movie, and then they just overdid it. And it's kind of like this race is supposed to be the perfect predators, but humans keep beating them easily. So that means humans are the perfect predators? I don't know. But on that note, I do have to talk a little bit and before we let Don rant endlessly about Star Wars, we're going to talk about the trailer that came out right after our show last week, and I'm going to play it right now. And that, of course, is the official trailer for First Steps. Oh, did it work? Nah.
Wow, folks, we all know the story. 4 brave astronauts head up into space and come back forever changed.
This car?
Our city, our planet, owe a debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four.
Thank you. Thank you, Fantastic Four.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
Herbie, how's that sauce looking? Okay. That is fantastic.
You're late.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? You're late for dinner.
Yes, we are.
You late?
I just said that.
Are you pregnant?
What? You're gonna be the best mom in the world. And you are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth. We are gonna be the best uncles ever.
We can do this. Nothing is going to change.
Are you the protectors of this world?
Yes, we are.
Your planet is now marked for death.
It's my fault. I stretched the bounds of space. And they hurt.
Are we safe?
I don't know.
This
There's not enough time.
I'm not giving up. We will face this together. We will fight it together. As a family. Has to be us.
We will protect you.
Best part. Best part. He's not going to be a cloud. We're actually getting Galactus. Anyway. What did you think of the trailer? I can't hear you. What's going on?
Muted. It looks great. I love the way it looks. You know, with it being multiversal, you know, that explains why we're not getting, you know, Norrin Rad, Silver Surfer, and you know, we're getting this this lady version, which is comic canon, just, you know, in general, not really established, but we are talking multiverse here. So we'll see. I think that Galactus, I think that's gonna end up being like Franklin Richards. I don't that's what my gut is telling me, but I don't know if they'll go that deep with it yet.
No, that would be weird to start off with that. I mean, but the fact that they mentioned that she's pregnant in the in the trailer, I don't know, maybe.
And you've seen that we're late thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, James. We all. I love you dearly, brother. We know that you have issues with family. You know, some families are just nice. I'll leave it at that. I like Hassan's comment. How can you understand they're a family if they don't tell you they're a family? Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's like what's it called? The Fast and Furious. Family. It's all about family.
La Familia.
La Familia.
They gotta tell you that though. That's their brand. That's the brand they're going for. Yep. You know, I think it's kind of weird though. Like, you know, they laid it on thick. Fantastic Four. Everyone loves them. They got, you know, action figures of the Thing. Oh, we're gonna protect you. And then here comes Galactus, which I don't think they're gonna be the reason. You know, they're not gonna be the ones to save them from Galactus. So it's like weird. It's like a superhero movie, but like, are they gonna be the ones that actually save everybody, or are we gonna get some fucking Watcher Ultimate Nullifier?
That's the thing. That's the thing that's interesting. That's the thing that's interesting. You notice in that scene where they show, it's the only scene where they actually show Reed using his powers, is the building's collapsing and you see him jumping up and he's got this like long pole thing in his hand. And is that the ultimate nullifier? And it's like,
yeah,
okay, so we're doing the ultimate nullifier. Does that mean we're going to get the Watcher? Like, that would be, to me, who is a massive fan of all of this, I feel like that might be going a little too far for some people if the Watcher shows up. You know, I mean, and I know they used them in an after credit scene or the Stanley cameo in one of the Guardians of the Galaxies, where Stan was sitting with with all the Watchers.
Yeah.
But
not to mention the What If show.
True.
Establishes that he'll dabble.
That's an animated show. I don't know how many people have actually watched that versus watched the movies. So
I know I've only watched the first season and I've kind of been over it. But Dave, I guess the reason why, to me, it's plausible that they can do that or need to do that, because if we're talking Secret Wars, we're talking Beyonder, possibly Molecule Man. I mean, they kind of, if they're going to go there, this could just be kind of a warm up. I don't know. I don't know if they're planning on doing Molecular Man, Beyonder shit with Secret Wars. I don't know how they're going to explain, God Emperor Doom in Battle World. I don't think they're going to be as convoluted as the comics, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, well, Kassan says that he has a prediction that where is it? Here it goes. That the Fantastic Four will fail, but somehow make a gate to our timeline and prepare for another Galactus invasion.
I don't see it failing.
I'm kind of
define failing. It doesn't make $1 billion.
No. He means they fail to save the Earth from Galactus.
Oh yeah, all day. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I got you.
And then so it has a dark ending, but then they end up in either our timeline or Battle World, in Doomsday or something. I don't know, like, because that makes me wonder, like, does Reed come up with an escape plan in case they fail, but only the Fantastic Four get there? That would.
Well, he's the one that creates the craft that I'm talking about in the comics.
Yeah.
Out Secret Wars shit. He's the one that creates the craft, the life preserver, I think they call it, whatever they are, multidimensional life preserver that has like him, his family, Black Panther, Miles Morales, some others. And that's how they survive the incursions. So,
yeah.
I mean, he could do that. I don't know. I'm excited, but I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I definitely think it's going to be good. It looks really good. It feels very much like early Fantastic Four comics.
And I think that's why I think if it doesn't make $1 billion, it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it's going to do well. And we'll see. It'd be interesting. I don't have no, they're showing us Galactus, they're showing us the Silver Surfer showing up and all of that stuff, but I feel like there's a bigger story in this than that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, if we're seeing Galactus
in the trailer,
Silver Surfer in the trailers, yeah. No, we're gonna see some crazy shit all day.
Yeah. Yep. Can't wait for it though. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right. You ready? Are you ready to start talking Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
Are you sure? You sure you want to talk Star Wars? All right.
I was mad that we weren't here in Easter. I wanted to talk Star Wars.
They made some announcements. The big one, of course, is Ryan Gosling is Star Wars Starfighter. There's been a lot of all we know for sure is that Ryan Gosling is starring what's his face? The guy who did Deadpool Wolverine, the director.
Yeah, I can never remember his name. I think
Sean Levy is
There you go.
Is directing, and it takes place after Rise of Skywalker. That's all we know about this movie. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, man, that's quite the spearhead. I was very surprised that this is going to be after Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I would not think that they would continue beyond that in show form. But they are. So we'll see. And I'm very intrigued because I like the development of the Star Wars universe. So
it's also interesting too because the Starfighter game that was very popular, and I kind of felt like that's what they were hinting at with the name, is actually in the prequel era. So it's weird that like this is going to be a post-quill after the saga, after the 9 episode saga.
Hey, that's cool though to me. I like that idea because Star Wars technology keeps on developing. As we're seeing with Andor, who outside of a deep Legends cut, because it's in Legends, not the exact same version that we see in Andor, but it's there, the TIE Defender. So outside of that, who knows about the TIE Defender unless we do that? I would rather have a Starfighter property be able to involve the newest Starfighter shit. So I like that.
I think Hassan likes to stir the pot. Disney owns the Predator IP. Let's see that race brought into Star Wars universe as a threat.
Well, listen, that's funny, Hassan, but they can certainly do that. I'll cite my source here. Episode 1. Remember seeing the ETs in the Galactic Senate? So don't threaten them with a good time. We'll have Yatyas in the fucking Disney in Star Wars in no time.
No. They wouldn't be much of a threat. Jedi will take them out.
Honestly, though, you know what? Though it won't happen because you know what? The Yatyas, aka Predators, they remind me a lot of the Yuzon Vong, which they should be doing here. Ooh, what if the Yuzon Vong are encountered in Starfighter? He comes across the Yuzon Vong Coral Skipper, which is their Starfighter. Ooh.
Okay. Boy. You got a little too excited there for a second.
Yeah.
Got a
great idea. They really should hire me. I can make you money.
The other thing related to Starfighter is that Ryan Gosling actually went to Hayden Christensen for advice on like how to be in a Star Wars project.
Yeah. I've got a secret recording of it, but I don't want to get us copyrighted, so I'll tell you what it says. And it says, "Hey, Hayden Christensen, what's your advice?" Well, prepare to pour your heart out, and everyone tell you suck for the 10, 15 years, and then they're going to love you again, and you'll be working in great. So just prepare.
Yeah, you just
drugs for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, you got to wait for them to put out a project that's even crappier than the one you were in, and then they're going to love you.
They're going to hate you at first. They're going to hate you for like 10 years, and then all of a sudden, 10 years after they need to de-age you, they'll want to see you again.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Ryan, I have a feeling that when your movie comes out, everyone's going to start loving Rey. I'm just telling you. They're gonna hate you and love Rey for a little while.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what they tell Ryan. Okay, Ryan, now listen, we need people not to hate Rey. So you're on deck for hate.
Do you think he's just gonna be a pilot, or do you think they're gonna make him force sensitive? I'm kind of curious where going.
I'm hoping I would love to see that avenue explored. We've never seen a true Jedi Starfighter ace, one that really uses their force abilities, to help their piloting. Don't get me we've seen it. It just hasn't, I guess, been pronounced. We see it in Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron is super force sensitive, and that's why he's a badass pilot. We also see it with Anakin and Luke, but outside of that, I don't feel we've seen like a true Jedi ace, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm sure that's not what they're going to do. I'm sure it's some new Republic Galactic Alliance stuff.
And that's because they keep talking about that, right? They're going to have stories that take place because they're supposed to do another movie, at least one with Rey that takes place after Rise of Skywalker, and they're gonna have now this Starfighter movie, and it's like, okay, but what's the threat gonna be, right? Like, they brought the Emperor back and killed him again, so this time he's dead, right?
Oh my God! What if it started? Your Star Wars crawl, and then somehow again, Palpatine returns.
I think people would just get up and walk out of the theater.
Should just get, and slam their heads in the car door.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'll be beating this drum for a while, though. To me, the next step is Yuuzhan Vong. Like, the Sith shouldn't really be that big of a thing. Don't get me wrong, though. The post, or even during the sequel trilogy, there is not a whole lot of centralized government laws and stuff. So, they could. You could have a criminal syndicate. There's a lot out there, but to me, I think
you need to explore that aspect of it. And don't hate me for what I'm about to say. I'm not saying you. I'm saying to the audience, but like, we saw in The Force Awakens, they had that weapon that destroyed multiple planets at once, and they destroyed a bunch of planets, and then from that time on, we just followed the small band of resistance fighters and the New Order. That's it. Like, we didn't talk about what was going on. So maybe that's what we have to, like, have an ununified galaxy, totally ununified, and there's warring factions, like people all fighting now to control the galaxy.
Well, yeah, and the New Republic was a thing. While the sequel trilogy was happening. So yeah, it's like, imagine in real life, United States of America, and we had an enemy out there that somehow found a way to annihilate, like, Texas, Idaho, Wyoming, California. It's like,
wait.
What the fuck do you do after?
And Washington D.C., right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
All right.
But yeah, like, imagine, like, you have this government, and like 7 of your territories, millions of people just annihilated. Yeah, the threat's not there anymore, but it's still, happened.
Right.
So there's a lot they could do. There's a lot they could do, and I'm excited.
Right, because we ended obviously we end Star Wars or A New Hope with the celebration of their big victory against the Empire, and then we end Return of the Jedi with another big victory for destroying the second Death Star, and that's it. Like, we don't ever talk, and then all of a sudden we flash forward and there's a new order and a resistance against the new order. There's no talk about, like, what happened with the government of the Galactic New Republic in that time. Like, why did it fail? So,
well, and that's why, and this wasn't in your notes, so this is where I'm going to interject it. That's why the Ahsoka series dealing with Grand Admiral Thrawn is so, like, I'm so excited for it, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be, the bridge between Return of the Jedi / after that Mandalorian, like that whole era. How do we get from the Mandalorian era to, right, there's the New Republic that's weak as fuck, and this
right,
the First Order that makes, capital ships the size of planets. Like, how do we get to that point?
Which they're exploring a little. They explored a little bit in Mandalorian with these pockets of the Empire that are still around. They're just not organized. And they explored that a little bit, but then,
and Thrawn's going to come along, and he's going to organize.
Yeah.
And probably strap a Star Destroyer laser on his Chimera Star Destroyer.
Hopefully, we'll
fuck
see.
shit up.
We'll see.
But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't remember them saying. I don't see a lot about Ahsoka season 2 announced. This was
the only thing that's developed with that was announced was it's starting production.
Yeah,
and that they released this is a deep cut, but they released so for the original Empire Strikes Back, like its first trailer was just a bunch of stills, right? A bunch of concept art. Well, they did that for Ahsoka. They just
I missed that.
Put a bunch of concept art out there. But even more exciting is, I know I've said on the show that they cast for Baylan Skoll, my new favorite character. Since Ray Stevens died, they recast Rory McCann, who played the Hound in Game of Thrones.
Right.
We got our first look at him as Baylan Skoll, which, fun fact, he was a very good friend of Ray Stevens. So that's really crazy that now he just kind of takes over that character. But yeah, no, that's really the big thing with Ahsoka is we got to see the new, or at least the test pictures, whatever you want to call them,
right?
Rory McCann, Baylan Skoll, and then they did announce that it's in production, and then did those like still retro trailer that they did with the original Empire Strikes Back. It's good shit. So I love the Ahsoka series. I'm so glad that it's like, I don't know. I think it quietly slays. I don't think it gets enough excitement, but I think I'm also biased. So
no, and I think that's the era that I want to explore, and it's like that's all we've got is basically the Mandalorian in season 1 of Ahsoka. So,
well, Mandalorian and Grogu's now a movie thing happening.
Yep, we know that.
You'll get more.
Yeah, we're also going to apparently get more Darth Maul. Shadow Lord.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be an animated series, and it will be Sam Witwer doing the voice of Darth Maul.
Which I'd rather Ray Park, but okay.
Yeah, but he's been the voice in like all of the animated stuff.
Yeah, he has.
But my question is like, what do you like? What hasn't been explored with Maul in animated that they can explore in this show? It's saying that it takes place after the Clone Wars, so
so
you're the expert, so you tell me what can they explore with Maul that we haven't seen yet?
They can explore him more. I'll say more because this is not unexplored, but they can get more into him ruling a crime syndicate. He's not a Sith apprentice. He's a Shadow Lord. And specifically, when we saw him in Han Solo, the Han Solo story, whatever the fuck's that one? The Han Solo movie. Solo, a Star Wars story. He was, he had his cameo in that movie as like a crime lord. That's kind of Maul's thing. Like when he's not a Sith apprentice, then he's trying to take over other shit.
Go ahead. I'll address that comment in a second.
Okay. So but we ultimately know his fate, right? Spoiler alert: if you don't want to know the fate of Darth Maul because you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels, tune out for 30 seconds. But obviously we see how his life ends. He goes up against old Obi-Wan in the Tatooine desert, and it's I would say it's an epic fight. It's not a long fight because you really get to see how old Obi-Wan is and how badass he is. But anywho, so yeah, it's another example of we're flushing out this character that we know their ultimate fate.
Yeah.
But Darth Maul has always been a favorite character.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I'm amazed. I can remember. I'm amazed that 26 years later, we're still having Darth Maul content. You know, because I can still remember back in 1999, I'm watching episode 1 in the theater, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, this Sith guy's awesome. Qui-Gon's a great, awesome new hero. I love him. And they both come away from that movie dead. You know, I was like, fuck. So they eventually but Darth Maul was straight dead for a decade or more until they brought him back in, I think it was like season 5 or whatever of the animated Clone Wars series.
And
and that's where they've developed him ever since.
And they brought him back, but
Lord.
We didn't get Qui-Gon until we got a ghost Qui-Gon at the end of Obi-Wan.
We did, which was awesome. I liked it. You know, Qui-Gon, though, he's been in video games and stuff. Like, I don't know, that's also another great character. But anywho, so as far as your question, what can they explore? Just in between time, him, you know, after he realizes he's not ever going to be Sidious's apprentice again, because Sidious, in very badass style, destroys both Darth Maul and his brother at the same time, dual wielding red lightsabers, which you've never seen before and have not seen since, and will never see again. Great episode. So I don't know. To me, Darth Maul's not my favorite, but he's somebody when he's on screen I'm instantly interested in, and it's a great character. He looks great, everything about
it. So two things, because I haven't watched all of the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I've seen the episode where Obi-Wan and Darth Maul fight, but have they ever done Darth Maul and a Vader fight?
It was in a comic book one time, although it is actually said that might happen in this Maul series, but I've only seen it in comic form.
Okay.
And because at some point, Sidious does like clone Darth Maul, and he's pissed off at Darth Vader, so he makes Darth Vader fight Darth Maul. And Darth Maul's like poking at him the whole time, you know, just basically, you suck shit. You're just a machine. What the fuck are you going to do? And he's like got him in a chokehold basically. And so Vader just like ignites his lightsaber through himself and then through Maul, you know, and that's how the fight ended. So, you know, cheap, I'm a robot shit. Or I'm 90% robot shit. So it's happened. That's how it went down. It was cool. Remember reading it while it was in a Walmart. It was actually a comic book in a Walmart. So anyway, yeah, it's happened.
All right, and then you know the other.
Great question.
I have to address this. A show where Darth Maul challenges heroes to a dance-off. You know, because it's the rated G show. Now that would not be fair because he has robotic legs, and it would be using AI to win a dance-off, and that's not right. You just don't do that here.
That's not art, right?
No, it's not art. It's.
You're right, though. He would certainly have a disadvantage. Like his legs could just spin his torso, you know, like do like a balancing. Like you ever see Grievous fight when he's like balancing on one fucking leg and he's swinging a lightsaber with the other leg?
Exactly. We can't do that. We'll see. I mean, it's an animated show, so you know that it's going to take a while for it to come out. It was just
but it's going to be cool. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm so excited. Darth Maul used to be like my favorite Sith, and I don't know, maybe in a lot of ways he still is, but he's just always been like tops as far as Star Wars characters that I love.
All right, and now the last bit of news we need to talk about this because we talked about this before. Obviously, all this news is coming out of Star Wars Celebration from Tokyo, and while there, they asked Kathleen Kennedy about the rumors that she was stepping down this year. She was going to retire, and she basically replied by saying she's not going anywhere. Which, okay, fine. But that was what, 6 days ago that that came out. Okay, fine. She says she's not going anywhere. Since then, there have been about 3 or 4 sites. Most of them are questionable. There were a couple were like, oh, wait a minute. I've seen this site. I've used this site before as a source. That are saying, nope. Sources close to her are still saying she's going to retire in August. So I don't know. I think if she's saying she's not going anywhere, she's not going anywhere. But what do you think?
At this point, dude, while they're putting her in the ground, she should have a sign on her coffin. Oh no, I'm not retiring. I think I think this is nothing but her at this point, just trolling people. I like seriously, like I think I hope on her way out of the office, she's just like, nope, I'll be back, and we all wait 7 months. Hey, she hasn't returned to work yet. What's going on? That's what she's done a great job as far as I'm concerned. That may be an unpopular opinion, but hey, I don't give a fuck. I just, I want her to retire so that she can just ignore all the fuckery that goes on. But hey, if she's still got enough energy to fuck with people, I'm game.
I think 2 things to that. So what you just said is that the problem is most people judge all of it based on the sequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy had its problems, which you can you can blame the person in charge, but it really was a lot of it went down to the directors, and switching directors was just terrible, and Abrams did what he could to save it at the end, and that was just terrible as well. And then but like when you look at all the other ancillary projects around it, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, I won't bring up Acolyte. Like they're all like, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Mandalorian. I don't know anyone who complains about maybe a couple people aren't like on board with Ahsoka, but like for the most part, people are like, oh, it's okay. They're not like, no one hates on it, So I think that's the thing, right? She's getting an unfair push on things that like really aren't her fault. I mean, you argue that, oh, she's the boss, so she should have done a better job. I don't know. I think those things end up having.
I can make that argument for the sequels. I mean, I enjoy them, but I absolutely agree. There should have been an overall narrative from the beginning, and Kathleen Kennedy should have enforced that. Kathleen Kennedy should be the editor, or her or somebody else, Dave Filoni, whatever, of the Star Wars universe. It's just like a comic book run. Like you've got to have an editor that keeps you within bounds.
They need they need the Kevin Feige of the Star Wars stuff, and I don't think it's her.
They do.
She's at the top levels. Her job is to make sure there's financing and everything for all the projects and whatnot, but there's got to be one guy who just coordinates the ideas. And I think
you know who that is nowadays, other than Dave Filoni?
Oh,
other than him. Well, do you know what he does all the time, which is great? He doesn't do shit without George Lucas signing off on it. George Lucas don't own this shit.
No, not at all.
But at least Dave Filoni, like they seriously will not do shit until they run it by George and like, hey, is this completely fucking off base? They didn't do that for the sequel trilogy. So when Dave Filoni got more power, he's smart. You know, he needs to be the editor in chief. Again, because he's smart enough to know that even though George Lucas doesn't own the property, he still loves it, and you know, that's just a good thing to do. You know, imagine if I want to make this joke, I guess. So imagine if the writers that made Rings of Power had Tolkien to sign off on everything. You know, then it would just be 10 times greater. You know, and we still have that with Star Wars.
Gassan says Mando 1 and 2 are good. Mando 3 fell on its own crap. Look, here's the problem that no one talks about with Mando. When you end season 2 with the triumphant return of Luke Skywalker that we all wanted in the movies and didn't get, but we got it in The Mandalorian, it's hard to follow that up. Like that's your end cap right there. Like end it right there or whatever. And like, yeah, we had more Luke in season 3, or was it Book of Boba Fett? I don't know. Like that all blends together.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, they tried to top that moment in season 3. There's a lot of that in season 3 of Mandalorian where they brought in what's his face, the bounty hunter, the blue bounty hunter. You know,
Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, where like, yeah, people loved him in the Clone Wars, but like not everyone watched the Clone Wars, so they don't know who this guy is, right? Like, so bringing him in to try to top that moment in season 2 just didn't work. Like,
see, to me,
the dark.
And I don't know how we got on Mando. The Darksaber stuff is awesome. And I don't know how we got on Mando 3. Well, no, I do know Kassan, but I'm here for it. To me, that moment in season 3 wasn't that. It was the Mythosaur stuff.
Okay.
I think that went over a lot of people's head, though.
Yeah.
As far as the significance of that. Them being on Mandalore, seeing the Mythosaur, like, it just signaled to me, like, oh, yeah, they're going there. They're going to go, like, deep into some Mandalorian shit. And I'm not the only person to predict this, but I'll do it now if I haven't already. But we're obviously going with Grogu being the next Mandalore / with the Darksaber. And I'm stoked by that. I think that's cool as fuck.
And that's the thing. And that's the whole thing with season 3 with the all of that. They should do. You have to go deep into Mandalorian.
Yeah.
The show's called The Mandalorian. Like, so you should go into all of that stuff that true fans of those I don't know, race is the right word, that clan love, that planet. You know, like you have to go into all that stuff.
I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed that I have not seen a Mandalorian Basilisk war droid. I mean, that if I have one sore spot about the Mando series, the Mandalorian series, is that we have yet to see. We've been the Mandalore, we haven't seen a Mandalorian. It's just a Basilisk war droid, which looks cool. And first described in Knights of the Old Republic, but it's hard. You're not gonna. It's hard to follow up that Luke thing, though. You know, I agree.
And I think that was the whole thing. Like, everyone loved that so much, they were looking for the moment to top that in season 3, and it just
as well as I specifically remember people going online saying, "This is the Luke we wanted." So it did kind of like open that sore a little bit for people to renew their hatred of the Last Jedi.
Yes. So, all right. Yes. So, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy's going anywhere. And again, if she steps down as CEO, I think she's still going to be at the company. That happens all the time too. So we'll see. All right. That's it they are all the articles I brought for this week. That is all the Star Wars. We can put Don away in his box for another few days. But with all that being said, we got to ask the question. We ask it every week.
What did we learn on the show tonight?
Actually, every week, every couple of days, except for it has been a week. All right. So, Don, tell me, did you learn anything this week, or do you have any recommendations, or both?
What I learned this week is that Kassan, my buddy, he would like a show where Darth Maul challenges heroes to a dance-off with his fake metal legs that would give him a disadvantage. So learn that on the show tonight. And yeah, I really can't recommend anything outside of Andor season 2. It's awesome. I love it. I'm glad not only did they keep the quality, but again, I think they increased it with better pacing. So great job.
All right. I learned that as much as I love Star Wars, you definitely can shame me on Star Wars knowledge quite easily. But that's fine. I appreciate it.
It's my thing.
And yeah, I'm going to second that. Like, if you liked if you liked Andor season 1, you'll love. I think you'll love season 2. It's well done. Definitely more action, more intrigue. I'm going to probably watch episode 3 before I go to sleep after we get off of here, because I want to see what happens. And yeah, that's it. So there we go. As always, I will recommend you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to all our social media, merch, and so much more. We haven't done reviews in a while, so I'm going to be bugging Don, and I'm going to try to do a couple this week as well. We need to start doing some more comic book reviews and get them back out on the channel.
We need to bug Marvel. But yeah, no, I'll get some shit.
Well, I'm actually going to review the new Captain America, because I just got those books.
Awesome.
So that will be, so don't do Cap. That'll be me. See, I painted Cap too, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, Dave, just as the main boss here at the Superhero Speak conglomerate YouTube channel, feel free to be assertive and say, Don, review this book by this date. And
okay.
If you leave me in the gray, I sit here with all my shit each night.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually, I've decided I'm going to start, like, not necessarily scheduling things, but putting deadlines on things I want to do, related to the podcast, related to other things, to get my ass moving on things, because otherwise I'll just sit here. I've realized I'll just sit here and paint all day, if I don't start getting a little more organized. So, all right. Well, on that note, I think we'll put a pin in it until Sunday. So, as always, boys and girls,
Sunday. I'm sorry, couldn't stop that one.
Thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or two. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit our